Dear students and learners, I am once again happy to get in touch with you through this presentation. Today, this presentation is going to discuss about legal amendments related to crime victims concern in India. Through this presentation, I am going to share the legal amendments related to crime victims in India. Though the amendments are a continuous process in the law, now we are going to consider or we are going to look into three major amendments happen after the year 2000. Number one, the Criminal Procedure Code Amendment Act 2008. Number two, the Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013. The final one is the Criminal Law Amendment Act 2018. After learning this module or presentation, or after having gone through this presentation, I am hopeful that students can do a small researches on to what extent these amendments are followed in spirit. Also, students can make some suggestion for further amendments to tell how a better victim assistance law can be created. I do firstly start with the Code of Criminal Procedure Amendment Act 2008. This Amendment Act of Parliament has received our Honorable President's assent on the 7th January 2019 and thereafter published in the Gazette of India. The major outcomes, or I can say one of the major outcomes of this amendment is the definition of victims. In the history of Indian law, the very first time in the year 2008, the definition of victim has been included or inserted in the CRPC. Under its section 2, class WA, the definition of victim was given. As per that, victim means a person who has suffered any loss or injury caused by reason of the act or omission for which the accused person has been charged. And also the expression victim includes his or her guardian or legal heir. While looking carefully at the definition of this part, you can really connect its source with the UN Declaration on the Basic Principles of Justice for Victims of Crime and Abuse of Power 1985. I suggest you to compare the definition which was given in UN Declaration and the CRPC here. Through this amendment, crime victim can engage his own advocate. Earlier, it was not the case. That means only the public prosecutor works for the crime victim or for the state. Under CRPC section 24 and its subsection 8, the following provision has been inserted, through which that may permit the victim to engage an advocate of victim choice to assist the prosecution under this subsection. While a prosecutor is overloaded with lot of cases for government, public prosecutor, if he or she is assisted with the support of another one advocate, of victim choice, which will be very helpful to the public prosecutor. By the way, it is helpful to the victim. The additional advocate can do the process of collecting and organization of information which are required for the prosecution in a fast manner. Thus, victim will be beneficial if the justice is arrived sooner. This Amendment Act imposed and suggested that in the offences of rape under Indian Penal Code section 376 and 376A to 376D, the trial or the offence shall be tried as far as practicable by a court presided over by a woman. It means women judge in rape cases. After the year 2018, as we know, criminal law amendment once again was done. In this Amendment Act, as the sections of rape has been extended with 376A, 376AB, 376B, 376C, 376D, 376DA, 376DB, 376E, which also have been included to be tried as far as practicable by a court presided over by a woman. As the amended section 26 clause A of Criminal Procedure Code insists to try the offences of rape using the women magistrate or judge as far as practicable, this provision helps the women victims in several ways. For example, by understanding the circumstances of proceedings of the judge may instruct the defense side to avoid insensitive or unnecessary bombarded questions during the trial. Women victims may also feel easier to express about the sequences of victimization event in the presence of women judge. Being a woman, the magistrate or judge can lead the entire trial proceedings in a gender-sensitive approach. Thus, secondary victimization of victim can be avoided or at least reduced. Through the CRPC amendment in the year 2008, the section 157 subsection 1 says, in relation to offense of rape, the recording of statement of the victim shall be conducted at her choice, for example, even at her residence. As far as practicable, in the presence of a women police officer and her parents or guardian or any other relatives or social worker of the locality. One might think, how does this provision help to the victim? When the victim statement is recorded at the place of her choice, also in the presence of someone known, including women police as far as practicable, the victim might feel strong and open to express the information relevant to the victimization. As the place of recording statement is not a police station or any other places, the possibility of embarrassment or threatening gestures of offender or his side is impossible. The newly inserted section 1A after subsection 1 of 172 CRPC says the statements of witnesses recorded during the course of investigation under section 161 shall be inserted in the case diary. Though this provision talks about witness related in victimological aspect, always we should think whatever the assistance or facilitations or procedures done for the witnesses, we should consider it is a kind of victim aspect as well. Now, it can be understood that such recording of witness in case diaries maintained by police may be called the court to aid in its inquiry or trial any time, which in turn may result in be helpful to the victims concerned. Provision 1A after subsection 1 of CRPC section 173 was inserted. This provision says the investigation in relation to rape of a child may be completed within 3 months from the date on which the information was recorded by the officer in charge of the police station. This provision, in fact, ensures speedy justice, especially in the cases where a child is victim of rape. The early procedures of criminal justice system in connection with rape offences shall be cumbersome and severe traumatic to a child victim. This provision helps in avoiding that. Later in the year 2018, when there was further amendment, the code says that this process should be completed within 2 months from the date on which the information was recorded by the officer in charge of the police station. Also, the section further includes other newly inserted rape offences under section 376AB, 376DB, 376DA and 376E. The amended CRPC section 309 with subsection 1 talks about speedy completion of inquiry or trial in the case of child rape. That means where a child is a victim of rape, the inquiry or trial shall, as far as possible, to be completed within a period of 2 months from the date of commencement of the examination of witnesses. Later, as one more step ahead in the amendment of criminal law which was done on 2018, it was said the inquiry or trial shall be completed within a period of 2 months from the date of filing of the charge sheet. Here you can see the differences. Earlier it was 2 months from the date of commencement of the examination of witnesses, but here it emphasizes once after the charge sheet is filed, the trial shall be completed within a period of 2 months. It obviously emphasizes the principle of speedy justice. As we know, the section 327 of CRPC is about inquiry into or trial of rape offences. After the amendment in 2008 of CRPC, there were provisions added under subsection 2 and 3 of section 327. Under subsection 2, a provision was added that says in case of rape, in-camera trial shall be conducted as far as practicable by a women judge or magistrate. In-camera trial, it means it is not an open trial. As allowing or insisting in-camera trial in case of rape, the public cannot observe the proceedings. So the woman, in fact the victim, will not feel getting embarrassed, stigmatized and secondary victimized during the trial. In such circumstance, psychologically, the victim may also feel empowered to be open in expressing her views. Subsection 3 of Section 327 CRPC, added with the provision of maintaining confidentiality of the parties of rape. There it was said that no information such as name and address of the parties of rape should be published with regard to the trial proceedings. After the 2018 Criminal Law Amendment Act, the same provision includes all the offences which are coming under rape provisions in Indian Penal Code. Also, it has further added not only the information related to trial, it also includes the inquiry into the offense of rape also should not be violate the confidentiality principle. Section 357 of CRPC is about compensation payment to the victims. But through the amendment in the year 2008 on CRPC, a new section inserted as Section 357A CRPC, which introduced the victim compensation scheme provisions in India. It is actually a milestone in victims support aspect in India. Why? For a long time, since long ago, the UN Declaration on the Basic Principles of Justice for Victims of Crime and Abuse of Power 1985 insisted the member states to come up with victim compensation scheme. Also, World Society of Victimology, in India, Indian Society of Victimology that has submitted a victims bill earlier. These all were suggesting victim compensation scheme to be introduced. This was realized through the Section 357A of CRPC in the amendment. I would once again say, in fact, it is a significant achievement and an important milestone in the history of victim jurisprudence. The amended Section 357A is about victim compensation scheme. Through this section, the CRPC compels every state government to prepare a scheme for providing funds for the purpose of compensation to the crime victims or his dependents who have suffered loss or injury as a result of that crime and who require rehabilitation. For that purpose, state government should be coordinated with the central government for preparing the scheme. The second provision of this 357A talks about quantum of compensation. Who will be deciding that? It says, whenever a recommendation is made by the court for compensation, the DLSA or SLSA, District Legal Service Authority, State Legal Service Authority, respectively, shall decide the amount of compensation to be awarded by taking into the type of offense, the severity of the injury, the amount of loss which was suffered by the victim. The third provision talks about the recommendation of compensation by the court even though the acquittal of accused is there. What it says, if the trial court at the conclusion of the trial is satisfied that the compensation awarded under section 357 is not sufficient for such rehabilitation, then the recommendation can be done by the trial court. Even if the case end up in acquittal or discharge, we must understand the victim has to be rehabilitated. That's why this provision has been included. The fourth provision says the victim can make an application for compensation even though the offender is not identified. What does it express? It expressed where the offender is not traced or identified, but the victim is identified, and where no trial takes place. Either the victim is depending on the case of victimization, may make an application to the legal service authority for getting compensation. The final provision of this section talks about speedy issuance of compensation. It says, on receipt of recommendation for compensation from the court, the state or district legal services authority shall do award adequate compensation by completing the inquiry within 2 months. However, the inquiry should be due inquiry. I would suggest you all to select the victim compensation scheme of your state by searching in online, and what other provisions have been made in connection with this 357A. Do a research on that. There are some differences from state to state with regard to various aspects. For example, the type of offenses and the amount of or the quantum of compensation to be given to the victims. The amendment in section 372 CRPC allows the victim to prefer an appeal against the order of court. As we know, generally the prosecutor will do the appeal process or will do appeal when there is a need. But through this amendment, it was made even the victim shall have a right to prefer an appeal against the order passed by the court. There are certain circumstances, only in that circumstance. For example, if the accused is acquitted, or if the accused is convicted for a lesser offense, not for the entire offense, if the victim feels like that, or If the compensation awarded to the victim is insufficient, the victim has the right to prefer an appeal. However, such appeal shall lie to the court to which an appeal ordinarily lies against the order of conviction of such court. Introducing the right of victim for appeal was strongly recommended by the victimologist even in Malamuth Committee 2030. In its report also such thing has been discussed. I believe you all have understood the important amendments made in the CRPC Act 2008 with regard to victims' consent. The next part of this presentation on the topic legal amendments related to victim consent will be on Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013. Thank you for being patient and listening carefully.